Hi everyone, my name is Elizabeth Riegel. I'm the Executive Director of Khronos, and I have been honored to have that position for 12 years from the very beginning. Today I'm here to talk about something new that Khronos has launched this year. It's born of ideas that we've heard on the road for quite some time. We call it KITE. As John Peddie mentioned earlier, it's the Khronos Institute of Training and Education. And most people wouldn't think of Khronos as being involved in education, and we originally didn't think we would be either, but all the time that we spend out on the road, we've heard comments from educators that they're, and from members of the industry, that they're seeing engineers graduate with dramatically different skill levels, and that this is posing a problem, and additionally that the educators are having trouble keeping up with our pace of spec development so that they can communicate this to their students. So we've been on the road specifically seeking more of this kind of information. We've been in Taiwan, Korea, Japan, and now in Beijing and Shanghai this week. We'll be asking more questions. But these are the kinds of comments that we've heard. Translating a 500-page spec into teaching materials is a lot of work and we need help. And then the Khronos specification process is interesting to observe, but it's not helping us create courses. And that comment we've heard from our 5 or 6 academic members who we've had on board as members for quite some time, but we've not seen them engaged as much as we'd like to. We've also heard comments from students. I work hard to be the best in my school, and I have no way to demonstrate this. Students want to have tools to prove their levels of proficiency when they're out looking for work. So we've heard the same demand voiced slightly differently from industry. Hwanyong in the back row there has shared with us that Samsung has expressed to him that they hire hundreds of engineers a year, and that again, they find that they have different levels, different quality levels of training, and that most often they have to take these new hires and retrain them to the quality levels that they need for them to get started on their jobs. And because Korea has been examining this challenge on their own in sharing their thoughts and their developments with the Khronos Group, they've been more advanced than some of the other regions in organizing their thinking and resources behind solving this problem. The Korean government has committed resources to this problem and has said, we will help you eliminate this problem so that we're all being sent engineers that we can use as they arrive. And Hwanyong will talk more about Korea's activities in his segment. So this is the genesis of the KITE program. We've heard these requests, and the requests have not gone away. They've become more urgent and more frequent. The more quickly we produce specifications, and the more we have, the more they feel a bit overwhelmed to translate them into products for their students, for their customers. So again, that's what we're here doing this week. So KITE is an evolving process within Khronos whose intention is to connect industry to education. There is a gap, and we need to help bridge it, somewhere between what universities teach and what industry actually needs engineers to know to start their jobs. There are some pieces missing, and we're hoping to work with the academic community to fix that. It's important to note that Khronos is not intending to teach courses. We are intending to help educators teach their courses more consistently and more effectively. And this drawing, I think, shows that in a clear and simple fashion, that the Khronos members who make up the industry will provide best practices and guidance to educators, and that the educators, then enabled with the framework and guidance, are able to come up with Khronos-related courseware and exams. And the point would be is to have those exams offer a benchmark so that each educational facility and professor and students themselves can establish their skill set, their skill level. Of course, then all of this benefits the students who end up being the skilled employees that are hired by Khronos members, and the continuous virtuous circle continues. The Khronos API working group process is very familiar to all of the members. And when we've heard the comments from educators that we don't need work group chairs to help us create courses, we need the same framework that work group chairs use to create specifications for us to create our own courses and exams. And so the intention of this program that's not yet fully publicly launched, we've not defined the education working group process yet. This is the thinking within the group, is that similarly to the API working group products, where there is a specification and conformance tests, we will work with educators so that they can create course materials and, similar to conformance, certification so that the examinations are consistent. So this shows the Khronos and the KITE working group process. Again, the technology work group process is very familiar to all of you. And it makes it easy to understand how we envision setting up the academic work group process, where there are, similar to conformance tests in an adopters program, we have educator guidelines and courseware, and then exams for certification, benefiting the educators who provide a consistent API education. Again, these are processes that are still being defined, but the vision is that the educational work groups are able to provide their challenges, the gaps that are keeping them from creating these courses in a globally consistent manner, and that the work groups will be able to feed back best practices and guidelines to the educational work groups. Again, with the circle of information flowing so that we're able to improve what we're offering with industry and education. We imagine that the first goals of the educational work groups will be to define courses for teaching understanding of theory and practice, and then to define exams that will to demonstrate proficiency at a measurable level. So we don't presume to know exactly how educators might chart their course within each API, but it seems logical to us that first you would determine an exam to establish a benchmark for quality, and then work backwards from that as a group to establish courses that would teach proficiency. The last point on the slide excites me. Something we work hard to do at Khronos is to release specifications and reference cards simultaneously with conformance tests. Somewhere in the near future, when this process is enabled, we envision being able to also release exams and courses at the same time, so that the educational community has a product that's now public and that they can offer. We've got a KITE community website already live. It offers, as you can see, a number of materials here, which I won't read through, but I'm happy to say that almost every day someone contacts us offering some reference material or some interesting project that they've concluded and that they're willing to share with the community. So every day there's something new and rich being added, and we are finding high levels of interest from academia to get involved and provide direction in this very new area for us. This slide at a glance shows the KITE community, which is web-based, and then the yet-to-be-formed, still under definition, education work groups. And as I mentioned, they'll create exams, communicate to the API working groups, and then create a product that they can release to academia. At the heart of this is certification, and this will require that we provide a means to hear input from various regions on their individual requirements and preferences. Academia is different regionally, something that you don't find in product development. So we need to ensure that the KITE certification process addresses all of the needs globally of many different communities. And again, yet defined, but similar to the conformance process, we envision being able to offer a program where if you are willing to pay to use the certified exams or courses, you can then call your university or your students certified or conformant and have some kind of marketing benefit where they could use the logos in the promotion of their courses and services. I've gone through very quickly because there's other presenters today that I want to make sure have some time. But if you're interested in getting involved or learning more or contributing to the evolving process, we are having a special half-day session at our face-to-face in Dublin on Friday morning, and we will work hard to further the group's understanding of how this might work. And our goal right now is to be able to launch at SIGGRAPH 2012. It's a big event for us this year, and as an academic show, it's the right place to make an announcement like this. In summary, much as we have the tagline for Khronos, connecting software to silicon, we say this in a nutshell: we're connecting industry to education, we're assisting educators, we're not going to teach courses, and we're asking for involvement. Does anyone have any questions on this?
I want to know if there's KITE certification available right now.
It's not available now. We're still defining this process. We're referring to it as a parallel universe because in the same way that there are 15 different API workgroups, we envision creating as many educational workgroups in parallel to those APIs so that we can have a workgroup chair, probably a professor, who would make a call for participation from professors all around the world, define what's working and not working for them, and then over the course of the year together define and vote on what they deem certified exams. So the Khronos workgroup chairs who currently work to define the specifications don't have the background or skills to define courses. So the whole point of KITE is to create a framework, just like the API framework, but for educators to create courses. So no, there are none available yet, but our goal is to have those in hopefully 18 to 24 months for an exam, much longer for courses.
So far we have a plan for the KITE activity, and we do not have some deliverable from KITE, right?
We've established there's a need for certified courses. We've identified a number of volunteers willing to help us organize and define the process. And as soon as April, we believe that the work group chairs and promoters will agree that creating the same process as the API framework is the right path. And as soon as April, we can start asking, not publicly perhaps yet, we're not sure, again, this is not defined, I don't want to misspeak, but as soon as that face-to-face meeting, when we become more clear on the process, we will be asking for participation, for people to volunteer to be the work group educational chair. And that requires, of course, a very solid understanding of the requirements of academia.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Colin?
Are you going to encourage your educators to open their materials to people who might not be students to attract them to their courses, or are you just going to keep it so that your educators only educate their students and they have to be members as well, or?
We envision, let me see if I'm missing a slide here. No, it was the end of the show. I've got a slide that answers that a bit better. It's not in this deck.
Okay.
We've not yet defined the privileges of participation of an academic member. From behind here, as you know, the work groups and promoters will need to define quite a few things. Will current academic contributors be able to continue to participate in work groups and the educational groups? Will individual professors have the right then to listen to API work group meetings? There's a number of key principles or participation privileges that would have to be figured out, and we will do that at the face-to-face. But to answer your question, would professors let non-students use their?
Well, this has been happening quite a lot recently with open courses from various universities to try and attract them to those universities.
Yes.
And if these materials could be available via Khronos as well as the educators' sites to their institutions and their universities, it might be quite attractive to people who are trying to decide whether to take that particular route into education or not. I mean, as someone who's educated myself as well as going to university, I found the more materials available online were useful as well. And if this could be backed up with Khronos, it might be even more appealing.
Yes, on the KITE website, the community website, we have courses and tutorials and any resources that academia choose to share with us, we post there. We're also more than happy to link to their materials. The idea is to create a hub to be as helpful as possible. Khronos wouldn't drill down to that level necessarily, deciding how much they choose to share non-certified courseware. If we start talking about just like a conformant product process, if there's an exam or a course that the academic community has worked together to define, to ratify, and to say this is the official OpenGLES KITE course, then the right to use that would come with a fee, just like conformance. And we would not allow them to share it beyond the scope of the agreement. And of course, none of that's defined, but it's an exciting thought, and we'll be working on that later.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Any other questions? Juan's going to tell us about what Korea's been doing. They've been doing an awful lot of thinking about this for the last almost 2 years, so just go ahead.
Almost 2 years, the Korean academic society trying to build the educational and training program related to Khronos API. So now the blue dot is the already member of Khronos Group, and red dot is member, and the blue dot is the university show us that they have intention to participate in KITE program, and the yellow dot is they already use Khronos API in their lecture, so I think they will participate in this in KITE programs. So well organized, and we hope to all these college and institutes will participate in KITE program when we kick off event in Jeju Island. Okay. Actually, many Korean schools and organizations waiting for KITE, and because we understand Korean the teachers in Korea colleges understand that the importance of Khronos APIs, so they already use Khronos API to their teaching materials, or some kind of game development course, or computer graphics course, or parallel computing course. They already use OpenCL, OpenVG, OpenGLES, and OpenVG. So now, surely the trend is some teacher, in case of game developing course, they change from the direct video, DirectX programming to OpenGL or OpenGLES. So, and there are different kind of reasons to using Khronos API in schools. So some schools use the Khronos API to their research, and some schools use to have students get a good job. And some school or training organizations want to build some kind of a retraining of an employee in industry. So they want to have some kind of program to teaching the employee in industry. Now the Gyeongbuk National University is taking a leading role of a KITE Korea program. And Professor Nakun Baek is the leader of that activities. And that building is, Korean government decide to provide a big budget to this program. The program name is actually the 3D Fusion Technology Center. They have three kind of program. One is Dassault. Dassault is a very famous graphics company. They will build the training and education center in this building. They will use one stair. The Dassault will invest to this with their money, the Dassault's money. And then the item is that VR and AR simulate company invest to this the program. And third item is Khronos, the KITE program will be fully supported by budget of the Korean government. So we don't have to invest to this program. The Korean government will invest to this program. So we will use I think half stair of this building. And then the budget can be used for developing coursework and mainly, actually really huge money, but you know that Korean is really construction loving people. So the president of Korea was CEO of Hyundai Construction Company. So the more than 80% of money go to building a building, construction of a building. I hate that, but yeah. So this building looks quite good, but we should build another building. So 80% of money go to building new building, and we will spend money to building lab, and we will spend money to educational event and training event. Okay. So we will have a kickoff meeting in June in Jeju Island, and we will have the teacher event in October in Seoul. Any question? Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Hitoshi Kasai. I'm in charge of Japan business development. I'd like a very quick 1-minute update for KITE Japan programs. So let me show you one example. DMP, Digital Media Professional, is one of most active members in Japan. They started all training programs focusing OpenCL ES and GLE-SL shading language course for years. And they had a monthly course with 20 or 30 students. They're very good, successful, and they are committing to Khronos to give their expertise and know how to use training course to the KITE programs in the future. Japan is just going to start KITE activities. Korea is running more forward, and Taiwan is started last month. And we had a first meeting of professors in last November, and last month we met two professors, Kansai District, Kansai University and Colin universities, who are interested in KITE programs, especially how to use, how to join, and how to get a benefit of KITE programs. So we'll encourage to start working with them, how to proceed. And finally, we have two meetings in May in both Osaka and Tokyo, and we're going to invite college professors and graduate school, any persons who are interested in KITE programs in Japan. We are very excited. Any questions? Thanks so much.
Okay, quickly lock the doors. I'm going to try to teach marketing to engineers. Actually, when we talk about marketing for engineers, most engineers, when you start talking marketing, they shudder. They start thinking about other things. They think about all that code I have to write, and well, maybe it's like maybe I can get out of this somehow. This is marketing. I mean, this is me. This is who I am. This is me marketing me as an engineer. I do a lot of different things, and coming to these things and presenting myself is marketing. I'm marketing the APIs and so forth. Marketing isn't that bad. The Khronos Group offers an incredible opportunity for participation. With the weekly conferences, you can get involved in the technologies, you can contribute to the specifications, you can help develop conformance tests. I mean, there's no feeling greater for an engineer than to get that finalized specification and see your name in print on a technology that everybody else is going to be using. And when we start talking marketing, let's face it, marketing to most people is really boring. It's one of these things that makes you shudder as an engineer.
Oh, come on.
But when we talk about marketing, it's also personal marketing and technology marketing. Talking to people about technology like we're doing today is marketing, and it is a lot of fun. You get out there, you network with other people, you get exposure, and it's a boost to your career. We go to the face-to-face meetings. We discuss technology. They're on a whole different level than you do on the teleconferences. You can network with people and exchange ideas. You meet other representatives from companies, including some of the gurus in the industry. And you can make connections all around the world.
I think it's important to point out that this very casual picture, that's Dave Schreiner, who next year is the chair of CGRAPH conference. So you might not know that if you're standing next to him at a cocktail party, but he's an interesting person to talk to.
Yes, and he gives great advice on wine.
Yes, he does.
So we do debuts, we do BOFs, we do pavilions. We travel, we do these face-to-faces, the regional face-to-faces, and you can present interesting techniques for solving problems. You can present new technologies. Every time you do this, you're marketing yourself, you're marketing your company, and you're helping market Khronos. But it doesn't really feel like marketing. And Colin, you're joining us for the first time. Does it really feel like marketing?
Not really.
No.
Damn you. Got me marketing already.
You're already denying and minimizing your marketing needs.
Yeah. So this is an excellent opportunity to meet industry experts also. John.
I think the point you could and should make is that marketing is different from sales.
Yes, the comment was that sales or marketing is different than sales. And marketing is making people aware. Sales is getting somebody to sign on the dotted line. I hate sales. Another way to market yourself is to contribute to the developer community and you can write white papers and articles. We'll publish them on the Khronos website. You can do example code that we can publish. You can assist other developers by answering questions on forums or contribute to open source projects. And all this, through stuff like this, Khronos can help get you noticed. It's not just getting the APIs noticed, it's helping you get noticed and helping you in your career. You may not realize that at Khronos, you rub shoulders with some pretty impressive people. We have Neil Trevett, who's the president of Khronos, who has over 20 years in the 3D graphics industry. We have Tom Olson, who is the OpenGLES guru. If you have any questions about OpenGLES, Tom's the go-to guy. And we'll be having lunch with these guys later on. And if you want to know how to soup up a V8, I can help you with that too. But these are some of the visionaries and leaders who are instrumental in creating the Khronos APIs. And when you join with Khronos and come to the face-to-faces, you get to network with these guys. You get to involve them socially and make contacts. And it's a great way when you come back to your company to be able to give input to your team from what these people are actually telling you about where the industry is headed and what's going on. Some of the resources within the Khronos Group is, yes, Khronos does indeed have its own marketing team, and they will help you get involved. We have templates for sessions and talks and for presentations. Makes it a lot easier to put these things together. We have speaker web pages where you can promote yourself and your talents. And we have people who have done this before who will help you through it. To give you the support to get up here behind the podium and make your presentation. And it's not as scary as it may seem. So you can take a look at the list of Khronos Workgroup chairs and the visionaries that have made Khronos what it is today. You can attend our face-to-faces and the pavilions and assist in the debuts and meet up, network, get your career going. If you were trying to drive your group in a company, get your company noticed and so forth. And Khronos has a strong relationship with the press, where we bring video crew to almost every event. I think the last couple of events we've certainly had the video crew. And you can lecture to a group of, like here, we're about 15 people, or maybe 50 or 100 people. But in addition, they'll be on the website so that people can download the video of you. They will see your name. They will see you up there giving presentations about the latest technologies. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you on the next road trip.